how do you feel about sugar, Ward? I have to say, if I was an aholic of anything, it would be I'd be a sugaraholic.
Well, you look like me. Obviously, you have several pounds a year. You know, when I started practice, the average North American had 110 pounds of sugar a year. Now we're over 200 pounds a year.
Wow.
The problem is we're not eating sugar. We're eating processed something. What is sugar? Sugar is an interesting thing. If you look at like sugar cane, or well, if you pull a sugar beet out that's not messed up from genetics, and you eat that, it's a digestive tonic. Sugar in Chinese medicine, but not the stuff you're buying the white stuff. Real sugar is a digestive tonic. You look at how Europeans eat. They eat their food, and they have a sweet after dinner. Not as sweet as we have over here, but they have a sweet. That's a digestive tonic, and they have a hot liquid. A fantastic way to finish a meal, right? Sugar now will bind with a mineral inside of you and will suck something out of you. Sugar wouldn't pass as a food today. If it was invented today, or the processing of it was invented today, it would have to go through the FDA as a drug. It's tough, tough stuff. And I have a great photo. I have to put it up in the office, but it's 25 popular foods and how much sugar is in each of those bottles. And it's very sad. You know, when you see a young person having a can of Coke, 12 tablespoons of sugar, something like this.
High fructose corn syrup, which is even more messed up.
Oh, yeah, modifying your genes. It's actually, it concerns me a lot, like of all the things. And unfortunately, sugar messes with your chemistry, and it's a drug. I mean, at a certain level, it's a drug. You know, white table sugar, soda pops, most foods, most processed foods, well, they all have sugar of some sort. Corn syrup is in everything. It's bad.
You feel the same way, Lisa?
But like you, I'm a sugaraholic.
Sugaraholic. Maybe it's a girl thing.
I love sweet things, and I still have sweet things in my life. There's a big difference, as Ward was saying, the difference between whole sugars, unrefined sugars, and refined sugars, the table sugar and the high fructose corn syrup. There's a very different effect on the body. So I still have sweet things in my life. I still have sweet things on a daily basis, but they're maple syrup and honey in small amounts.
Yeah, unrefined is
and it's lovely, lovely stuff. But the refined sugar takes nutrients to digest it. It strains the body. It's really, really hard on the system. It feeds bad bacteria. And I've also seen in my practice a very, very strong correlation between pain and sugar. When I see somebody in chronic pain, I always see a sugar addict. You pull sugar out, the pain is gone. And I've seen this over and over and over and over again. Just in my mother recently, she was having pain in her hip, and I said, just until you can, and she was waiting for an MRI, she was waiting for proper treatment, and she's like, what can I do in the meantime? I said, pull, there you go. Pull white sugar out. And she went from 8 Advil a day to 2 in a week, and the change in pain was dramatic. The 8 Advil a day wasn't touching it. No sugar in her life. The 2 Advil over a week was just because it was cloudy out and she was kind of feeling achy. It was a different situation altogether, and I can name probably 15 stories of similar results just by pulling sugar out.
And now that we've been talking about sugar, it's triggered something in my brain. I have a fitness instructor friend who she'll never drink another glass of milk in her life, and she will not let her children drink milk. Something about the proteins being too big or something, I'm not exactly sure.
I am. We're going to have the dairy marketing board come through here with a bunch of guns to air this.
But I mean, it's all opinions, right? And
it's not.
No, it's not an opinion.
You can put it under a microscope and you can see what it is. You feed a cow. My dad grew up in a dairy farm. You feed a cow on grass, go eat all milk you want. Yeah. You put a cow on grain, and you are going to change what that cow is pushing out in a way that we're just not meant to digest. There isn't a mammal on the planet that has milk after 2 years but us. If you look at how many stomachs a cow has and how many stomachs we have, you'll see there's a very big difference between that digestive process and our digestive process. You're better off having goat milk. It's a closer molecule size. You can often get goats on grass. The second you pasteurize it, though, it's a problem. And I know there's a court cases going on all the time in Canada about this. Currently now you can have unpasteurized milk in some jurisdictions. But Health Canada would shoot me. The Dairy Marketing Board is a big, powerful thing. They don't like getting messed with. But yeah, milk. My dad's here, good stuff. But yeah, you'll have 8,000 women. Or everybody. You have 2 glasses of milk. My uncle's 78. He was at a seminar. A nutritionist came in and said you have to have 2 glasses of skim milk a day. Like, you have a good time with all that phlegm.
Yeah.
Do
know.
you feel the same way?
My dad grew up on a dairy farm as well, and
See?
cows eating grass provide anti-inflammatory fats. Cows eating grain provide inflammatory fats because they're inflamed. And there's a big difference in nutritional quality between grass-fed and conventional. And grass-fed, organic grass-fed butter from grass-fed cows are high in CLA and butyric acid. Both are anti-cancer agents, not in conventional butter. There's a big difference but they're very different foods, incredibly different foods. So if we walk away from conventional, just go into organic, the unpasteurized is also better too, because when it's heated, the heat denatures the protein, making it much harder to digest. So many people, myself included, have a dairy sensitivity. I don't tolerate it. But we can get unpasteurized cheese because in Quebec they still are allowed to use it. So in your grocery store you can get raw milk cheese, and that is the most beautiful stuff in the world. It's so much easier to digest, and it contains the good bacteria you need to digest it. But then the fact of skim milk as well. Skim milk is a highly processed food. You can't absorb the calcium from it.
I know.
It's an incredibly processed food. So unhomogenized whole milk made from grass-fed, grass-finished cows, which is available in the Okanagan. There's health food stores are carrying it. There's a great company that's producing it for us. It is pasteurized, but at least it's organic, grass-fed, grass-finished. That would be the only milk to drink, but I would highly recommend, instead of going with even drinking milk, going with yogurts or raw milk cheeses, properly fermented, easier to digest dairy if you want it a part of your life.
Can we talk about yogurt for 2 seconds?
Sure.
Take your yogurt jar, take the lid off, put it on the counter, leave it for 2 days. If it doesn't go moldy, that ain't yogurt.
No.
Okay, very important.
And the probiotics that they're adding into conventional yogurt is made from swine and rat bacteria, so it's not even naturally fermented in any way, shape, or form. But again, we have great local companies using organic, unhomogenized whole milk and using that for good quality yogurt. So we have other options. It's just what we normally find in the grocery store isn't yogurt.
And I guess it's just about, again, that giving people the information and then allowing them to make a choice.
Well, you will have people, I don't know how, you will have, if people can comment on this episode, people will say we are risking people's lives by saying that. Having something unpasteurized, we are trying to kill people. That's what they're going to say. And, folks, for 100,000 years, they had it the old school way. They squeezed it out and they drank it down, and I'm sure some died.
If the cow is healthy, though.
Oh, they're fine.
But when the cows
my
are
dad's
healthy.
still here. But, there will be a lot of people be very upset by that, and that is, you can argue their point. But if there's too much over here and over here, there's very little in the middle-ish under, like everyone gets so upset.
Yeah.
Like this is bad and this is good, and
Life
folks,
is gray.
under certain circumstances, this is really wonderful stuff. And people that get really upset, leaving the reality behind and going on to the emotional, you're trying to kill my kid. Good to hear. Trust me, I'm not trying to hurt your kid. But people who talk about this milk thing really rattle cages. And it's a shame because you just talked to a couple of university professors and it's a done deal. That conversation's over.
Interesting Pandora's box, I guess. And
Oh,
maybe one more after the break, a little bit about food additives. So stay with us. We'll be right back.